So basically, we need to really keep the top level vision and work towards it, and drop all this if and buts and small print. That's what is stopping us. So everywhere there are preconditions. If you want to go to approach a customer like talked about for defense, then there are again a lot of screening things. So that's out. So that's the biggest hurdle we have. I think I have just 2 more slides. Just quick one. So this is what is our experience. Unfortunately, I have to bring it up. So this is what is when you go, even for parent applications, we have filed more than 25 patents, and nearly 19 of them are already granted. But there too, we have the same process. We recently applied for 2 patents, and one of them is really meaning it's a cutting edge, but the committee even doesn't understand it, so they are not able to approve that. The simple one, which is actually not of much commercial value, that is simply approved. So it's meaning the gap is huge.
And you're filing all the patents out of India or global? Or
we have to first file in India, and then only you can go elsewhere. So we file in India and then in the US or in Europe. So I just have one more slide. I think 1 or 2 more.
And you don't have subsidiaries in US or Singapore?
We actually, if I come to this slide, see, it was not possible for us to go and do the semiconductors out of India because of the taxation. There are huge issues. So we had set up a subsidiary in US, and we are doing a lot of work through the US subsidiary. So we have the funding, and all the main balance sheet is in India, but we are taking the service through our US subsidiary to work out all this. There are a lot of regulations. If you keep your chips outside India for more than 180 days, then there are other taxations. So to avoid all that, we have to work around many things. So that's the taxation hurdle, the customs and the FEMA. Like we have to spend about $1 million to do the 40 nanometer full mask tape out, and the RBI just wouldn't give permission for us to send money. So we spent more than 2 months chasing RBI to get permission to send money out to the fab. So that's the kind of thing that we are talking about.
Yeah, I mean, these are the,
So is ESA doing anything to solve this problem? Because we have been talking of this for 3 years.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe again, most of the things that we are maybe talking or deliberating on, maybe from 30,000 feet kind of thing, right? Which is yet to reach to the ground level, because I mean, this is the what topic we wanted to bring. First thing is like for any, whether it's a fabless company, IP company, or whoever product company we are saying, right? Where they need to look for the market part of it, where they need to look for the customer part of it. If those kind of traction is there, then there will be a certain flow of fund can be possible, flow of technology can be possible, flow of everything can be possible. So this is another reality check, whether though we are saying India is a huge market, where we are standing from a market point of view, whether there is a real market for the Indian entrepreneur or not. So this is a question. I mean, Ashok, you have been also very instrumental in terms of understanding the market, and then customizing your product or services based on the market need, right? What you see, whether is there any taker for it?
Yes, and I would also,
and then perhaps we also like to elaborate what is ISA is doing in this space,
right,
in terms of doing the
right,
demand creations for
right,
it.
right. So you know what, the question which you have asked is very relevant question. What IESA is doing about it, right? And I'll kind of connect the dot to what you are asking, whether there are any takers for what we are capable of doing, as a startup ecosystem in both electronic systems and fabless semiconductors domain, right? So what I feel is that there's a huge market. I mean, there's no doubt about it. First slide of Bishwa's PPT has actually shown it, right? As I told, there's a lot of systems which are being done in India, but probably we finish at spec level. Rest of it is being, whatever, made elsewhere, and then procured in India, right? Now, I want to compare this scenario to what was probably happening 30 years back in software services. Software services were primarily, driven. So it was a homegrown thing. Came to India on cost advantage, and we really made it big. There were a lot of poster boys. Even government found it easy to talk to the right stakeholders, engage with them, tweak the policies accordingly. I think one of the problems which I see with electronics and semiconductors domain is that we are yet to have those poster boys. So when Nirmala Sitharaman this morning was telling that, government doesn't know, and I see that there's no dearth of money. I mean, there are funds and funds of funds and whatnot, right? There's no dearth of market, there's no dearth of opportunity, and there's no dearth of capability, right? So what do you want? You want a good team, you want money to survive to make your products, and eventually you want a market to sell so that you can make money. And pretty much we have all the dots, right? Now, some of these things, so semiconductor as it stands today worldwide, right? The private funding has pretty much dried out. You look at the success story of China and Taiwan, government has played a big role there, right? Now, if IESA can engage with government at the right level, right? So the problem with all of these policies, and on paper these are all very good policies. The problem with all these policies always has been that these policies were not made by entrepreneurs. These policies were made by bureaucrats in consultation with various professionals. But where are entrepreneurs in the picture for a policy which is made for them, right? Now, this was not the case for for software services market, back then 30 years back. So that is one of the things. So part of it, of course, we can sit and blame everybody between the sun and earth. But I think each one of us, right? So in absence of those poster boys in Indian ESDM sector, I think we'll have to do our bit and make sure that we create a force within the ISA banner that we should be able to go and engage with them and influence some of these policies. I mean, Dr. Venu knows that there is a money, but how would he get it? Because nobody has ever thought of that, how the money would be delivered to a guy on merit basis, right? So if we can go and just kind of tweak things, things might just happen. So that was my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, there are many bits are there on this thread, right? So one way we are saying that the Indian entrepreneurs are growing. Other thing, they are coming with the products and all, right? So but when it comes to the global competitiveness, like, are we really ready to go for a compliance testing? Are we ready for the scrutinize our product? Are we ready to benchmark ourselves as a global competitor, right? So these are the questions we also need to look into it, right? So based on your experience, what you feel that the kind of teams that we have and the kind of resources that we have, is it still possible to build world class products for the global markets?
Absolutely. Absolutely, no doubt. I think first of all, we are building those products. Many of our products are sold internationally today already. That's one thing. The second thing is, if you see the total products that are built entire world in electronics, we all know that most of it is, the talent is coming from India, right? And they are already happening in India, where may not be in Indian companies. So that same talent is moving out and doing it. So what basically we are highlighting here is the missing ingredients which need to be corrected to be able to build Indian products out of India.
Yeah, and you are right in many ways, and in fact in many developed countries we have seen the industries, they do a lot of lobbying also in order to create the market for their own purpose, right? And in US, through the SEMI, people do a lot of such kind of activity. In China and Taiwan, we have seen there are a lot of policies we are bent in order to promote the Indian entrepreneurs and their product in their local market, right? So, sir, you are working on a complex processors core, right? And in my whole knowledge, like in India, where you will find another Indian Intel?
Yeah, we need to have an Indian Intel, and we need to. That means, we need to start with a processor and then build the entire ecosystem. And I don't think there is anything lacking here. As you earlier asked, do we have the entire, all the facilities needed in the entire life cycle of a processor or any device like this to testing and all these things? Where do we have? Yes, as this one said, yes, we have. Probably what is lacking is the belief that we can do it, the belief that we can have an Indian Intel. Unfortunately, nowadays, even we don't, if you go with a technology and you say, I have this, we look forward to somebody in the West to validate it and say, yes, it is true. We don't ourselves, believe. If another Indian comes and says, yeah, this is a good technology, why can't this be an Indian Intel? Somehow you don't believe. We only believe when some other Westerner says, yes, it's a good technology. That is the sort of lack of, our own self-confidence. And if we have that, yes, we can have, why just one Intel, many more.
That's great thing. I mean, it's the point Dr. Venu bring out, like the perceptions issues, right? Until unless someone with a white skin defines your product is good, we are not ready to take it forward. So that's great. So in this room, I am seeing there are a lot of entrepreneurs are there who have already tested the ground. Okay, so another 10-15 minutes we want to see, like there should be more inputs and more deliberations come from that side, so that it will be very open forum kind of thing. And at the end of the day, the objective from this deliberation is, though there are a lot of challenges are there, but we foresee there are a lot of opportunities are there, and also we want to see the the startups should also join the bandwagon, because whatever the handful number of startups are there, with all the equations and the algebra, will not able to meet whatever the numbers that we are talking from. So lots and lots of teams has to come forward. They need to do a lot of innovative products. They need to do a lot of good system designs for the country. So I'm opening this discussion for the entire room here. I want to get a lot of feedback from the room. What are the the way we can work on those opportunities? How we can perhaps look at those challenges and converts into the opportunity, so that we should have a strong recommendations to the ISA and then the government per se, in order to fix some of this leak. So I will hand over the mic, or this room is still enough, like, okay, we can interact, right? Please, this room is open for the discussion.
So, question for you, right? The tape outs and all, have you ever looked at using semiconductor complex, or you still go to TSMCs and lower foundries?
We have used TSMC, we have used Toshiba.
So, this semiconductor complexes are not much used.
No, we are working on an advanced node. Semiconductor doesn't have that node yet.
So SEL still is at 18 nanometers.
I know, but at least for analog. If anybody of you guys are working on analog, so some analog technologies are still viable there. And I don't know whether that will help from the funding point of view, because I'm from the semiconductor industry. I completely relate with your problems.
Yeah.
But I've been attending this forum 3 years. Seems like somewhere we are not connecting with the government. We're just not able to make that. I just illustrate an example, right? I still think that between the finance ministry, commerce ministry, and IT, we are not able to break the log jam of trying to get the duty structure right, such that component duties are much lower than finished components. Now, what happened in cell phones is a great example. The moment that Focus and Gap came in, everybody in China wants to manufacture them. Everybody. Monday I was in a MSIPS meeting. Everybody is wanting to apply for MSIPS to make cell phones here. Nobody's coming out of, because they're getting their focus on manufacturing.
Absolutely.
So these problems need to be fixed there. Somewhere I don't know how.
Exactly.
And ISA, I've been in meetings with ISA, we have talked about things, but I don't still see that differential going away. The other problem that you mentioned, initially for a startup, to get the prototype, get the tape outs done, test it, there are always 2 learning cycles, minimum. So I don't know what solution the government can give, unless it's wealthy relatives, I guess.
Yeah, that is the initial stage. But we are working.